listening to The Woman Show.
Hello and welcome to The Woman Show, a show for women about the things that matter most to women. I'm Melody Perry, and I'm in the studio with my good friends and co-hosts,
Monica Senecal
and Kim Stonecipher Fisher. We're excited to have in the studio with us today Jeff Weaver, who is the owner of Bambino's, or do I say the BAM?
Let's go with the BAM.
The BAM,
Yes,
right.
yes.
I love that. Well, you bought Bambino's when?
It was in June of last year, so not even a year ago.
Not even a year. And then all of a sudden you move into the old location. Things are, kind of flowing along. And the university says, we want the property back.
Right. Well, actually, before I bought it, I knew that getting into it.
Wow.
Okay.
It was actually one of the reasons that I ended up, my wife and I purchased Bambino's.
Mm-hmm.
We had eaten there in college. We were old fans. She went to Stevens College. I graduated from Mizzou. So we were longtime customers, loved Bambino's then, and we heard it was moving. And it was up for sale, and we just kind of went for it.
Perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, your new location for people that haven't seen you, and if they haven't seen you, they're kind of living with their
Blinds.
Hole. Yes, they're hole in a head. And yes. So where is your location?
We're at 929 East Broadway, but it's 10th and Broadway. Is what I say. It's the easiest way to find it. Right on the corner. Can't miss it.
Now, I know that colloquially, Bambino's has been known as the BAM for, probably decades, but you're really focusing on that brand and making it, that's what's on the side of the building now. So was that a decision of yours, or was that already in progress?
No, that was 100% my decision. We always knew it as the BAM, even though it was Bambino's. Hey,
Yeah.
let's go eat at the BAM.
Right.
And now with our new location, we've added, there's a complete bar side, if you will. We still have the dining room, and we have a bar side. The dining room captures the same green and white checkered cloths, the same feel as the old Bambino's, but we've kind of spiced it up, if you will, in the new in the bar side. Made it a lot more contemporary. Got big TVs to watch games, and that's kind of what the BAM is. It's it's a place to go, meet friends, have a drink, watch a game, and we still carry on Bambino's Italian cafe tradition with the dining.
My husband and I have been there a couple of times, and we love eating at the bar where, since it's just the two of us most of the time. One of the things you brought with you now are some great beers, and you said you're going to be changing those up seasonally. Yeah,
it's actually something I'm passionate about. I love wine and good beers. I like to have the selection, and it's just interesting to see where we're changing. Actually, right before I came here, I was meeting with one of my beer reps to get some new beers out of Colorado, Breckenridge Brewery. So I'm always fishing out different wines, trying wines. We'll be doing wine tastings. It's just something I'm passionate about to keep it fresh.
Now, go ahead.
I had lunch there this week, and it was fantastic. And I love to see on the menu you had the old favorites, and then you also have added a few new items.
Well, it's kind of an interesting story if you'll hear about the menu changes. I've been in the restaurant business for 5 or 6 years now, and we just got this, and I thought I was the smartest person in the world, right? And so
everybody does until they actually open their own business. Yes.
So I made some changes to the menu to try to get consistency up, keep the quality, and so I removed a few items, took out the custom pasta portion of the menu, and I was wrong.
Yes.
What a big man to admit that.
Yeah, I found out pretty
good.
quick, but I listened. It was very clear that that's what the customers wanted, and it was actually refreshing to know how many people were passionate and loyal customers to Bambino's and realized it very quick. And so, needless to say, after a couple weeks, it was straight back on the menu, and so all the old favorites. So if anybody did come in during that time, I'm sorry, they're back.
See, that's what I was going to say. It'll show my naivete about the restaurant business, but in my mind, I'm thinking, why would you buy a restaurant when the building is not going to be the same? I mean, basically, what are you buying when you buy a restaurant like Bambino's that has such a long tradition? Are you buying the traditions, the recipes? What is it? I mean, because you knew something about the restaurant business. Why didn't you just start fresh with your own new restaurant, new name, everything? What was it about Bambino's that you wanted to hold on to?
It was a little bit of everything you said. It really was a combination. The recipes do come from an old Italian family, and those were great. I don't think they can be copied easily.
Right.
And the brand. I mean, it's got a loyal following,
Sure.
and you can't. That's one of the hardest things in the restaurant business. You can't just go out there and do that.
Yeah, and the following, they've followed you over to Broadway?
Yeah, it's been overwhelmingly positive. There's been, some people that are just hard to let go of the old place, but we're going to win them over, I promise. So.
Sure.
One of my favorite things is, as a Weight Watcher, one of the new items on your menu is a whole wheat pasta. So you can do the whole wheat penne, and it is so much better for me from a Weight Watcher standpoint, and then add one of the vegetarian sauces to it, and it's just great. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Plus your house salads.
Well, that's where I was going
really
to go with that. As we start getting a little warmer, a lot of people think, oh, pasta too heavy, is it? But our salads, we have a very, very loyal following to our salads. They're fantastic. Our antipasta with chicken, it's light and it's great with our house homemade dressing.
What people are really saying is swimsuit season's
season.
approaching. Yes.
Well, one of the things I think that you have to offer, and it's really hard to find nowadays, is a good value pricing for families. It's something that they can go in, have a great meal, and still feel like they've got money in their wallet.
Sure. Well, where else? I can't think of a place you can go. Husband and wife with 2 kids, each get a pasta dish, a glass of wine, and kids eat free all the time with an adult entree. So that's 2 parents, 2 glasses of wine, the kids under $25.
Yeah.
I think I just had a new favorite restaurant.
Absolutely.
No idea. I haven't been in Bambino's in a while, and there have been other restaurants in this location where you are now, and I'm not really familiar with it now. I know one of the things I loved about Bambino's was going and eating on the patio. Do you have any outdoor seating at this
We're
location?
going to have outdoor seating on the sidewalk, like you've seen some of the other restaurants downtown do. There is no doubt that that's one of the aspects that we'll miss about the old Bambino's. Unfortunately, it's just the situation.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot. We're going to, like you said, get the tables outside on right on Broadway there, but we'll miss the patio too.
Yeah.
You will.
Yeah.
But one of the good things about your location is you've got such great windows up front. You really do feel like, especially if you're near that area, that you can sit and eat and watch the passers go by. People
Yeah,
watch. It's fun
absolutely.
to people watch.
Yeah.
And for me, I would forget about where the old location was. I just didn't go by it as much.
Right.
So it's nice being right there on Broadway.
And it does look nice and clean and new. It has a new element to it. But I mean, I don't think that too many people will miss the old building. I mean, do you miss the old building at all?
I don't miss the old building. I was convinced as soon as we walked out of there it was just going to fall down.
Yeah.
That thing was ready to.
Yeah.
It needed major work or move. So.
So cool.
Now, the last restaurant was in there. I know they didn't have a liquor license. Did they have the bar already, or did you custom do that bar?
The bar was put in. The basic, the frame of it was put in by Village Wine and Cheese before, and then they didn't serve any liquor in the business before us. But we came in and redid it, poured the concrete top, just made it a lot more contemporary and nicer.
I love those concrete top bars. They are real interesting. And one of the things I credit you on for women immediately is when you sit down at the bar, I love the hooks underneath the bar to hang
they
your
have
purse.
You can attribute that to my wife, and that's being on the women's show. My wife is very involved with the business, and she reminds me of things like that I would never think of. So
That's good. That's good that you listen to your wife.
That's one Steve and Susie to another, you know.
That's
Does she
good.
work in the business with you?
yes, absolutely.
good.
Yeah.
And what's her role?
She does everything. We also have some other restaurants.
You have a Quiznos.
Yeah, we have 3 Quiznos. So she's more on taking care of the day-to-day there, and then she works weekends with me at Bambino's. So, and I'm more at Bambino's. So.
wow.
I'm impressed. You guys are incredibly young
Yeah.
to have such an entrepreneurial spirit.
How old
and I
are
have to
you?
get this
Are you
out.
allowed to say how old you and your wife are?
I'm allowed to say.
Okay.
I'm 29 and she's 26.
Wow.
Wow.
That's very impressive.
Or crazy.
No.
Yeah,
No,
maybe.
actually, it's a good thing because when you're young, you have
You have
more
the energy. Yeah.
And as you are finding out, you're there until, I'm sure, 1 a.m. easily.
I wish I got to leave at 1. That'd be nice.
Oh, man.
And you guys have a long span of hours. Talk about the hours that you guys are in Bambino's.
Well, that's one of when we talked about the BAM earlier. Basically, in my mind, when the BAM really takes over is at 10 o'clock. Because at the old location, we were open from 11 to 10. Everything shut down at 10. Well, now we have 10 till being at the corner of 10th and Broadway. When the young, later night crowd, we are open till 10 to 1 o'clock each night.
Wow.
So, Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when people like me go to bed. Yes.
Right, right.
That's when people like
there
me
is-
used to go to bed.
There's a very active nightlife, though, with the students. Absolutely, that's catering to the crowd that you probably were part of just like yesterday. So, I mean, do you find that that's difficult too, like separating yourself from wanting to party with your customers or being the manager that kind of has to be in charge of
here I am
everything?
going to say, like, as I'm getting older, I mean, but
We love that.
No, in the last couple of years, you got to get your priorities straight. And
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to draw that line.
Sure.
So what about staff? Where are you finding most of the people that are working for you?
Nearly 100% are Mizzou students. It's almost like their own fraternity or sorority, if you will. I mean, they call themselves the Bamily.
That's great.
And they hang out together. They go places together, and it's neat seeing their relationships
That's
they
neat.
have. So
Hey, you also catered, don't you?
we do a lot of catering, and it's a very very affordable, great way for offices. We do box lunches, but what we do the most of is our big pasta pans.
Yeah.
And it comes down to about $6.50 a person.
Wow.
And it's you can feed a lot of people for not a lot. And
Yeah,
it's-
that's awesome.
Then what time do you open for lunch?
we open for lunch at 11 o'clock each day,
And you're 7 days a week?
7 days a week.
Holy cow.
And what about that bread that's so good?
Well, I'll have to give a good friend of mine, actually, Adam Guy at the Upper Crust makes that bread. We get it baked every day, fresh from the Upper Crust and brought in.
That's
so,
fantastic.
Yeah, you're welcome, Adam.
Adam, does Adam actually,
Yeah.
because I'm trying to picture Adam actually back there with the chef's hat on, actually
No.
baking the bread. He doesn't actually bake the bread.
Probably not.
because-
We don't want him back there.
Right.
One of the things I thought was interesting when we came in too is it's becoming more of a tradition now with Italian food. Instead of putting the bread down and bringing you butter, you do the olive oil, and I like that.
I do
also.
too,
It's-
with a little bit of balsamic in there too. It's lunchtime, stop it. I'm hungry.
yeah, we are. We're hungry. What can we say? So, what's been the most challenging part of the whole thing? Moving a location is not easy.
It was tough. Just the transition, because a lot of the equipment we got, it was about half and half new equipment, old equipment, but all new bar equipment because there was no bar at the other place. Just shutting down one business and as fast as you possibly can, getting the next one open. And those downtown buildings are a challenge.
Yes.
I mean, we've done, I think a lot to make the place cleaner and bright and nice, but there's still old plumbing and old electrical and everything, and that was a challenge.
Yeah.
So, how many days were you actually down?
Let me think. We closed on a Sunday and we were open. We were closed, I think, for 5 days. Is
Okay,
what it was.
that is pretty fast
Wow.
turnover.
Yeah.
That's
Well, and to
awesome.
retrain everybody, and part of I've always been out there thinking about restaurants. I think one of the hardest things is ordering food and making sure that you have enough food in, but not so much that you have so much spoilage. And that had to be really difficult to.
Yeah,
move.
it's both a science and an art with that. I mean, that's the toughest part, controlling costs in the business, because that's where you can go down fast if you
Yeah.
don't have it under control. So
Now, do you juggle your time between your Quiznos and the BAM?
absolutely, I spend not as much time with Quiznos now with Bambinos.
Yeah, where are those locations?
I have one in Rolla,
Okay.
one in St. Robert, right outside the gates of Fort Leonard Wood. That was our first one,
Uh-huh.
and then over on East Broadway and Broadway Shops.
You have to have good managers,
Yeah.
it seems like, in order to run 4 different locations well.
Yeah, and I couldn't do it without my wife. There's no way I could have been able to expand out. There's just no way. So that's my best manager. if you will.
We've been talking to Jeff Weaver. He has the BAM downtown. He and his wife, and your wife's first name is
Jessica.
Jessica. We don't want to leave her out.
Yeah, don't lose her. Happy wife, happy life.
Yes.
That's right, exactly. And we encourage everybody to stop by their no location on 10th and Broadway. Wonderful food, great atmosphere, great people. And do you have a website people could go to if they want to take a look at the menu?
Bambino'sItalianCafe.com.
Thanks for joining us, Jeff.
You're listening to The Woman Show.